Hey again, we are here continuing the deployment topic, and now I want to say a few categories of the things that cannot be deployed with our package deployment or change sets deployment or sfdx deployment. With any deployments, they cannot be deployed. So let's go. The list is not that big. The first thing is records. For new people in Salesforce, it's quite confusing that records cannot be deployed. And this is true because we have from one side records, from the other side metadata. Metadata is something what we saw with you already all this time. So these are Apex classes, pages, lightning components, objects, full data model like objects, fields, foundation rules, any automations, and so on. Whatever really is there. Everything what you can retrieve via package XML is metadata, always. So this is deliverable. And another stuff is like records. So for example, here you have some your tabs, and if you are creating some records, that would be, I don't know if I have records there. Alright, so if you are creating new accounts, or if you're creating new contacts, new leads, whatever, you have hundreds of these records or even millions, any number, depending on your work, concrete work. These are all records because they are like records in this database within Salesforce platform, And while metadata is more like customization of the platform and like the files that are described in their platform, and records are from database. So records are not deployable within that deployments that we saw, and this is quite logical because we don't need to deliver them. Normally on production you have some production records, so already for prod, for real life and real work. And then on sandboxes you have just some test examples probably, On full work you will have all the copy of your production records and so on. But still, if you do need to deploy them, this means that you need to migrate them, This is called data migration already. So all this moving of records to any other environment or between sandboxes or between even different orgs. This is data migration, and for this we have various tools like data loader. This is what I usually use. But there are plenty of them, so depending on your needs. Records are not deployable still. So the next one is custom setting records. They are also not deployable, but custom metadata records are deployable, and this is very important difference. So let's have a look about what I'm talking about. Custom settings, if we open them. By the way, I'm using Classic, but this would be the same on Lightning. Don't do any difference between, like, the platform is the same, because I'm facing from time to time. So people who start with Salesforce, they don't understand if everything will be the same on Lightning and Classic. Yes, it will be the same, because these are just different views, but the same platform. So let's go to custom metadata and custom setting. Custom settings nowadays, they can be only of hierarchical types. Before they were of these types. And if we press manage here, so this is important regarding hierarchical because this makes totally sense. So here you would have some fields that we've created on default organization level or on users level. Excuse me. So like that, so some config for concrete user and so on for concrete profile, these records already, they are records and they are not deployable. And it again makes sense because usually these configs are per org and you cannot even deploy them because here is written ID of your org, so prod and sandboxes, everything has have different IDs. That's why, if you need to deliver some custom settings, then you are totally adding these to the post-deployment steps to do that manually. Or migrate via data loader if you have a lot of them and so You can have a lot of them for list custom settings which are outdated, but which you can find still on the old projects. They are there. And we have different situations with custom metadata. So if custom setting is more like, let's say, setting per org, per users, per profiles, yeah, then custom metadata is more stable configs, yeah. Here could be stored some field mapping of your integration, yeah, or I don't know, some another field mapping. This is somehow the most commonly used usage of the custom metadata for me, at least. So yeah, these configs in custom metadata will there is no sense that they are different per org, let's say, yeah. So if you have some field mapping with some API integration, yeah, it will be totally the same within all orgs. Otherwise, this would be a new version of this API, which you again deliver the same to all orgs. That's why they are considered to be like metadata. So this is object, all right, and here if you press manage button, these records would be metadata and stored like metadata, and that's why they are deployable. From the previous video, I have here this folder that, yeah, we even deploy them. So do you see that? This was this record. Yeah. Okay, so this can be deployed. Custom settings can be deployed. All right, the next one. Communities. There is a tricky thing about communities. You can add them to change sets or to packages, but that would be just some, that would be some config, but it will be not really fully. So you cannot create community just by deployment, let's say like that. Later you can like update it, but not initially create. So if you need to create a community to your destination org, you first like create some stuff manually, and then you redeliver your changes or whatever you have related to this community, like, I don't know, profiles, access, and so on. So yeah, with communities it's more tricky. Usually within deployment there will be like pre-deployment step manual to create these communities with these parameters and so on. And then the next point I have is translations. If you know, there is so-called Translation Workbench. Yeah, here it is, and with this Salesforce standard tool, you can translate plenty of stuff, like anything. So objects, labels, fields, so everything what the user sees on the platform on this UI, with the exception of records, so not record values, these can be translated, and within Translation Workbench, you would use then export and import. And then, another tricky thing is about deploying, not even deploying, but just connected apps. So, if you know, connected apps is a structure which we create to do some integration from Salesforce to some external system. It can be connection to the bucket, it can be connection to external API, it could be something else, And there we would store credentials. Credentials can be even not only username and password, but also authorization, and there would be later some secret keys created for each org, If you are creating your own connected apps, for example, I was creating recently to connect Salesforce to Bitbucket, to have some automation between them. You will see if you are going to your app within apps, within apps link, not connected apps link, there is a different view. You will see there, I don't have them. You will see their customer keys, and these keys are unique per org. So for production, you will have one keys. For sandboxes, you will have other keys, and with each refresh, for example, of your sandbox, the keys will be different. So they are always unique. And as you see, there is no sense logical to deliver that. That's why, so during delivery, if you have just created your connected app and want to deliver further higher to prod, then you have it as pre-deployment step normally, to create the same app with the same API names and then use this consumer keys somewhere. And after you've delivered it till production, then you will have it on your sandboxes after the refresh. So that's how it works. They will be automatically recreated on sandbox refresh. The customer keys will be still different. So if you need to adjust them in other systems, but yeah, so they will be recreated. Normally you don't deliver them as well. Another last point, installed packages and various components. So, as you know, packages is something that we're installing and we do need to install them. We cannot deploy them because packages contain plenty of stuff, plenty of components and all of them with namespaces. And yeah, we cannot just deploy them. Deployment of metadata with namespaces will be blocked if you're working within your own organization. So if you need to customize the page layout of your package, then you are creating a new page layout and then customizing it via deployment, or just via post-deployment step and manual adjustment. So yeah, that's everything what I faced within all my work with Salesforce, what we can deploy. And if you know any further stuff that can be deployed, I would be glad to hear it in the comments. Yeah, that would be some new information for me. So, alright, thank you for watching. See you.